Start recording. Stop recording. Speech off.
Hello guys, it's Technology Freak 1000, and I'm actually going to go over a few things that I went over in my last Braille Speak video. That is, look at the vintage Braille Speak Scholar that I got. It was on Saturday the 13th that I got it, and I'm going to explain in more detail a few things. Now, what I'm going to explain is the fact of what some of the functions are, and, well, what are some of the features. This is not a, mind you, this is not a feature-packed note taker like the modern ones are. I mean, this is a little bit modern, but in the sense that it has a smart calendar and the fact that it actually has an actual functional word processor. It's actually the main feature of this unit that I'm holding on to. And before I get started, if you guys like this video, please feel free to hit that like button or smash that like button, and be sure to hit that subscribe button so you'll stay up to date with all the newest videos that I have to offer. So again, I'm gonna do a little bit of explaining some of these. So on the bottom there are 4 rubber feet. I'm just gonna go over the ports really quick, but be sure to listen carefully. Oh, great. I'm going to put the unit away from my Surface tablet, because why not? Oh wait, never mind, I can go back a little. Yeah, I can. Yes, 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 yes. That's exactly what I wanted. Thank you. Yeah. I wanted that to be like that. So, Theory of a Blind Man. If you're ever watching this video, and if you are subscribed to whatever, or if you're going to subscribe, not forcing you to, but just in case. The Braille Speak is about 8 inches long by 4 inches wide by about 1 inch thick. So, the dimensions, it's basically big enough you can hold it in your hand. Like, you could hold it. If you have a bigger hand, you would probably grip it a bit bigger. I mean, not bigger, better. This, from what I can gather, has, let me think about this. Let's see, 138, 138. 18, let's see, 160 something pages in here of memory, or yeah, free memory. This thing does not pack a lot, I'm telling you. Its main functionality is the note-taking capabilities. So yeah, so I'm gonna power on the unit, and what you're going to hear is the name of the unit, which is the APH Scholar Braille Speak. You'll hear the file name. You'll hear what's called a macro, and a macro is a macro, M-A-C-R-O. It's a little thing that you can do. It's a little thing that you can do to, like, I don't know. It's like, it's like a little message when you first turn on the device. You know, like how on like the lock screen of a Android device you'll get like the time, the date, or whatever. It's kind of the same on this thing, but it's a little different. So, to demonstrate what I mean, I'm going to turn on this unit, and you're going to hear exactly what I just described. See, that's what it was. You heard the, like, it starts recording, but it's not a recorder. It records what you do. For example, when you do dots 1, 3, 4, and 5 for the Braille N with space, you will get this macro dialogue. A dialogue is what they call, in the modern realm of, like, you know, computing and note taking and stuff. It's kind of like that. It would say macro, enter any, I think either character or any key or whatever. I don't know. And then it would start recording. Now, if you wanted to do what's called a startup macro, again, that's spelled M-A-C-R-O. A startup macro, you would hit space, and it would ask, create a startup macro wire in. If you want to create one, Braille, the letter Y, which is dots 1, 3, 4, 5, and 6. But if you want to do an N, if you don't want to do it Braille, the N, the letter N, which is dots 1, 3, 4, and 5. Yeah, 1, 3, 4, and 5. Not too much difference. Now, what Ear of a Blind Man had trouble with was the volume, and he had trouble with the speech parameters menu. So let's go through that.
Set speech parameters.
Okay, let me exit out of that because I didn't get to tell you.
Exit.
To get into the speech parameters menu, you do dots 1, 4, 5, and space. You press them together, and it makes the AR chord. AR in contraction. So let's do that again.
Set speech parameters.
And it will give us this speech parameters message or thing. So dot 1 lowers the volume, and every time it lowers, it says the word softer, indicating that it gets lower. So to actually demonstrate that, I'm gonna have to put that right there.
Softer.
It's saying softer.
Softer.
And it's getting low. It's getting lower every time.
Softer. Softer.
So you don't hear it anymore. It's all the way down. Now to raise it, you go across about almost 2 inches, or under 2 inches, over an inch. To the right of the first dot on the right of the space bar is dot 4. Press that and it'll get louder and say louder.
Louder. Louder. Louder.
As it says louder, it gets louder every time.
Louder. 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 Softer.
I'm gonna make it a little softer.
Louder.
See, there we go. I hope we didn't see much. For those who are visual, there's dot 6, 5, 4, space, 1, 2, and 3. So those are practically the only keys on the device, besides the power switch. Like I said, the power switch, the power switch is on the right. The headphone jack is right above it. The charging port is on the left, and then there are I'm not sure if it's 1 or 2 serial ports, but they're customizable. That's the forerunner to a USB. So, again, we're going to do the rate. As you press dot 2, it will get slower and say slower as it gets slower. You know what I mean? This is for those people who are, who are really, I don't know exactly what's going on, but really, okay, here we go.
Slower, 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 slower.
And as I'm pressing dot 2, which is in the middle of dots 1 and 3. Dot 3 on the left of dot 2, dot 1 on the right of dot 2.
Slower, slower,
I don't like it when it gets slower.
slower.
But like I said, as it gets slower, it says slower. You can find this type of, thing. If you've ever heard of System Access, it has this functionality where when you raise or lower anything, like the speech rate, like for the volume, it would get louder. Like, it's almost like System Access in a way. So if you have used System Access, you'll know from that.
Slower,
And now we're reached the end of it.
faster, 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 slower, 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 faster. Invalid parameter, invalid parameter, invalid parameter,
I'm just doing that to test it.
faster. Invalid parameter, invalid, softer, louder, slower.
That's probably the normal pitch. Now for dots 3 and 6, dot 3 lowers the pitch of the voice.
Lower, 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 lower.
And it's as low as it can go.
Higher, lower,
Now when it says shire, it actually means higher. It just, it just sounds like it's saying something else.
higher, 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 higher.
So if you've used one of those embossers that have this type of voice, you'll know exactly what you're getting into. What you're getting into.
Higher,
Because I have used an embosser with this exact voice. It actually said Braille Blazy ready. Braille Blazer ready, I'm sorry.
higher, higher.
So if you've heard one of those embossers with this type of voice, you'll know exactly what you're getting into.
Higher, 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 higher.
And for those who say that the the higher pitch rates, the higher pitch does something to their brains or something, I'm going to lower down the volume just a couple, things.
Softer, softer, softer.
There we go. I just want to make sure you can also hear it in action.
Higher, 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 higher.
And like I said, as it gets higher, it says higher. Once you have the end of something, it will click.
Softer. Louder.
Okay.
Lower. 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 Higher. Louder. Softer. Louder. Softer.
Alright, there we go. Now for something else. The frequency. The frequency is, whoa, I heard it crackle a bit. That usually happens with these older units. These units really kind of, like, since they're a little older, they have these tendencies to crackle. The speakers crackle a little bit because of the age of the unit. If you didn't hear that, the speakers actually crackle. There's only one speaker on this thing, but, well, you know.
Frequency.
Let me tell you, when it says frequency, pressing dots 2 and 3 together deepens the voice. Like it would get like it would stand like this. And then it would go like this and like that. I mean, it wouldn't deepen the voice, but it would actually make it more pronounced. You can actually make it to where you can pronounce things a little better. Ooh. That's that. It would make it more, I think it would make it more pronounced. Now, adding space to dots 2 and 3 will change the voice number. And you can set these voices. There are 5 different, like, types of the same voice that you can customize.
Device number 5. Device number 4. Device number 3. Device number 4.
I don't even hear a difference. But if you raise it up a little bit,
Shire.
oh, kind of heard it a bit lag a little bit.
Shire, lower. Shire, lower. Shire. Device number 3. Device number 4. Device number 3.
I heard that. Let's leave voice number, voice number 3, let's lower the volume a little bit.
Softer. Device number 2. Device number 3. Device number 2.
Let's raise the volume on voice number 2. Or
Device number 3.
Yeah,
Device
voice
number
number
louder. Softer.
actually, let's lower it to that one.
Device number 1.
Let's leave voice number 1 the same.
Device number 2. Device number 3. Device number 4. Device number 3.
Actually, let's see, what did I do?
Device number 3. Device number 2. Faster. Slower. Device number faster. Device number Device number 4. Device number 5.
Okay, verse number 5 will be
Higher. Lower. Device number 4. Device number 5.
you hear that? It went from a higher pitch.
Device number 4.
Rise number 4.
Device number
Rise
5.
number 5.
Device number 1. Device number 2. Device number 3. Device number 4. Device number 5.
Yeah, you can actually do this. You can actually customize these voices.
Device number 1. Device number 5.
I'm gonna leave it on voice number 5 for now. So those are the parameters, speech parameters.
That's it.
Like I said, if you have any questions, let me know in the comments down below. That would be very appreciative. And if you don't have anything nice to say in the comments, don't say it at all. Just a reminder. Just a reminder. Now let's open a document with this voice. Like how to do it. Press dots 1, 3, and 5 with the space bar for options.
Option.
Now it sounds as low as one of those embossers, because the embosser had the exact same pitch of voice. And just to test it out, I'm going to create a file. So to do that, press F. I know where you guys are going with the swearing and stuff, but no, that's not how it works. Dudes.
Enter file command.
Create a file for pressing to create a file, just press C.
Enter file to create.
Let's do it.
Comma. Uppercase.
Now to do an uppercase, you do dots 1, 3 and section space. Together.
Right brace. S. E. R. Space. Enter file command. Invalid file command. Enter file command. Enter file to create.
That kind of sounds weird, doesn't it?
Right. S. E. R. Space. Uppercase. U. T. Space. Uppercase. T. T. Embosser quote test now open. Top of file. Braille laser ready.
That's what the embosser would say, but it needs to be a bit higher. Luckily, we should know how to do this. But just for a quick review, dots 1, 4, and 5 with the space bar is speech parameters.
Set speech parameters.
Okay, to make it go faster, you should know what we do. But, just for a quick refresher, dot 2, to slow it down. To slow down the speech rate. Dot 5, to raise it.
Faster. Slower. Exit. Top of file. Braille laser ready.
Yep, that's exactly how it would sound.
Top of file.
Let me see if I can do this with my one hand. This is how that Braille Blazer embosser would sound.
Braille laser ready.
That's what it would sound like. And if you've ever seen one of these things. I mean, it has the same exact voice as the embosser, only if you customize it.
Top of file.
I'm gonna go. There's another way to get to the voice profile thing. Not profile, but you know, the selection. But this way you have to type it.
Device.
It will ask for the voice. So let's say I wanted voice number 2. I would press dots 2 and 3 because it's Nemeth.
Device number 2.
But what if I wanted voice number 1? I'd do the same thing. Press dots 1, 2, 4, 5, 6, and space. I don't know why.
Device. Device number 1.
See, that's voice number 1. But what if I wanted to put it back on voice 5? Simple. Just do the same thing again. But this time, for 5, press dots 2 and 6. Again, for the Nemeth code, the Nemeth number 5, press dots 2 and 6.
Device. Device number 5. Abort embosser quote test 1 page Braille file. Top of file.
Yeah, it almost sounds like one of those embossers, doesn't it? If you ever see one of those Braille Blazer embossers in your life, you'll know exactly what you're getting into when you hear this type of voice. But yeah, I mean, that's pretty much it. So for the status,
Status menu. 79% not charging.
eesh, how the heck did that happen? 79%? Well,
Question mark. Battery used 3 hours 8 minutes.
3 hours and 8 minutes. Oof, I've really got to keep it.
Reset battery timer enter wire in.
No,
Battery used 3 not interactive on.
interactive on. It should be the same way for other ones.
That's it.
Parameters, real quick. I mean, status is basically how everything is on the units. So, you know like how your status is on like when you're on like a game or something. Your status, you're like online or something. That the status menu basically gives you what information is on like every setting. It's like the settings of the device. However, the options menu, pretty much the settings are like pretty much everything that's on this unit is a settings page, whether you know it or not. The options is the, like, I guess you could say the main settings, and then there's like secondary settings, which is parameters. Then there's like the status. It even says the battery. This status is not really a settings page, but it kind of is because it actually gives you the option to turn on or turn off certain things. The parameters menu is actually more like
Enter parameter.
it's more like a settings page than anything else. Now there's no specific settings menu, however, but I guess every menu on this device you can call a settings page or settings menu.
Line fix.
If you want to call it that way.
Set baud rate.
See, there are some settings in here. Set baud rate,
Cursor tracking.
cursor tracking, you can even turn it on.
Set duplex.
Wait, what?
Cursor tracking. Set duplex. Set chat shading. Set cursor tracking.
So, I guess to enter in this,
Cursor tracking enter wire in. Okay.
so for these settings, you have to actually press dots 1 and 5 with the spacebar. Yeah. Dots 1 and 5.
Enter parameter.
Dots 1 and 5. 2 enter on them. And then a yes or no prompt. So, I mean, in a way, it is kind of modern.
Set bottom. Cursor tracking. Set duplex. Set shell shading. Reject ornamentation characters. Set parity. Speed revision date. Set stop bits. Set Braille translator. Unprotect file. Set window length. Activate serial port. Set data bits. Double speed. Serial number.
Okay, the last option you really do not want to, well, let's just say you really don't want to do that.
Line fix. Invalid parameter. Abort and buzzer quote test 1 page Braille file.
Now to open a previous file, the shortcut is the OU sign, which starts 1, 2, 5, and 6, and then you add space to it. Kind of like how a Braille note that I used to have did the same thing.
Step M file 1 page Braille file. And buzzer quote test 1 page Braille file.
It's kind of like a toggle between two different files. You can go from one file to another, then back to it, then back to another one, then back to another one. Now, the thing is, you can only go through 2 at a time. They're about 18 or 19. You can probably go up to like maybe 30. Oh yeah, I think I've heard that it only stores up to 30 files, and that's about it. Yeah, I think it only stores up to 30 files. That's the thing about these units. I think it only stores up to 30. And I almost got up to it all. And now, does it have any sort of smart capabilities? Not really. The only smart capabilities is if you go into options,
Option.
press the letter G, which is dots 1, 2, 4, and 5 without space.
Enter a number of days or 88 MMDDYYYY.
So you can enter a date. 2 digits for the month, 2 digits for the day, and 4 digits for the year. Let's say if I wanted to enter December 21st, 2016. Not that I'd want to, but to do that, you would just press. Or you would just type 12,
2.
which is, well, I'm not going to go through that. I'll go through numerous stuff in a while, after this video is published. 12, 21, 2016. Now you don't do slashes or anything. What you do is you just type it in as like, well, I don't know. But it'll tell you once you press dots 1, 5 in space. What, the day of the week, and then the actual thing.
Wednesday, December 21, 2016.
And that's cool. Now, if we wanted to know today's date, we do the same thing again.
Option. Enter a number of days or 88 MMDDYYYY.
So let's just say I forgot today's date. I believe today's date is
0, 6, 1, 5, 2, 0, 2, 0. Monday, June 15, 2020.
Yep, it even has the current date.
Abort and buzzer quote 1. Option. Monday, June 15, 2020.
Yeah, it's still that.
Abort and 1. Braille file option. 11:54 p.m.
Oh, it's 6 minutes till midnight. That's not good.
Braille file.
Well, that's not good. I'll switch back.
Step M file 1 page Braille file.
And to turn it off, you just simply turn off the switch. And bam, we're done. Alright, like I said, pretty explanatory. This is a more explanatory video than I've ever done. So, if you want me to go over more of it, you'll probably see a part 2. This is Technology Freak 1000, and I'm out.